I don't even know where to start with this, but I made a tweet about this, and one thing that I want to get out of the way, because some people were, expressing this sentiment or asking why I hadn't already done this. Uh, I have cut Seth off, and I actually did pretty much immediately after Klein uploaded his video, and I didn't really want to have any contact with him after this whole situation happened. The reason I'm making this stream right now is because, so he told me one thing, and then I found out that he is up to something that seems at odds with what he said to me. He is currently working on a response video, based on what I've gathered, and I'm only doing this stream and announcement thing to get everything out in the open, be as transparent as possible, because I'm worried that he's going to lie about me, or Clyde or whoever else was involved or whatever. So I had no intention of talking to Seth. Like I said, after this whole Keemstar Clyde video thing, my last interaction with Seth was supposed to be on that Keemstar stream, and that was going to be the end of it. But on I think it was the 6th or something, he uploaded this I think I heard that somebody said they were concerned about this a little bit in advance. I'm going to try to leave as many names out as possible, just, to, keep everything that, should stay private. But somebody, I think, had heard that he mentioned his plan was to do this, but he sent Clyde this, unlisted video where the first half was, I guess it was what his response video was supposed to be, and he was all yeah, I'm sorry, Clyde, this isn't about, coming after you, blah, blah, blah. And then, halfway through, it just kind of abruptly transitioned into this really dark, dour suicide note. And at first I was okay, so I was kind of 50-50 about whether or not I should take this seriously because of, a lot of the allegations that have cropped up throughout the situation have had to do with gaslighting and manipulation and stuff, right? And I was is Seth being serious or what? But then I found out from somebody that had been speaking pretty regularly with Seth that he had completely disappeared since the night that he uploaded that video. I also got I got to listen to the video because Clyde was worried and he sent it to me and wanted to know what he should do, but I got it a day late because he wanted to sit on it. No, it was, sorry, no, it wasn't Clyde who sent me the video, it was Omar, my bad, sorry. But Omar sent me the video because, he was really worried, and he was yeah, so I mean, one thing I want to make clear, though, by the way, is, all of us were really concerned, because, Clyde called the police and stuff, because, Seth gave his, address and shit, he, his, full name and stuff in the unlisted video, right, and so Clyde called the police, this other guy that I mentioned earlier who was talking to Seth called the police, and then when I got a hold of the video, I listened to it, and I was oh, shit, so I, called the police, I listened to it at, 3 in the morning, and I couldn't get in touch with the emergency line, right? And I was under the impression that the police had already been called for wellness checks, so I was okay, it should be good, but it started eating away at me in the morning when I heard, so I called the non-emergency line of the city that Seth lives in, because I couldn't call 911 because it would route me to my local police, and I had to wait for 30 minutes because, again, it's the non-emergency emergency line. And then I gave them the address, told them to do a wellness check, all that. And they were just okay, I didn't hear anything else about it. Nobody heard anything else about it for a while. And then I called again. So the first call that I placed was on the 8th. Then I called again on the 10th. I was but I didn't call the police. I called this mental health branch of it was this indie organization that specialized in mental health and suicide, and I was actually really stressed because I didn't like Seth, but I didn't want him to commit suicide, right? And I was oh my god, I don't want this to be I didn't want this weighing on my conscience. I was just bro, I gotta do something, so and I mean, I would have reached out to him, but I was under the Six and I both saw his account had this little exclamation point dot on it, and he also changed the picture to Noble Six with a bullet through the visor from Halo Reach, I guess, to like make it clear that he was like dead or whatever. Like in the video that Clyde saw that was like addressed to Clyde, he said another reason, by the way, that Omar got his hands on it was because there was some stuff directed at Omar, right? But the video is mostly for Clyde and Omar. And I want to say, sorry, I know I'm being scatterbrained. I'm just trying to cover everything here. The first half did seem genuinely a little bit apologetic. Like, he was kind of like, you know, narcissistic and defensive on some things. But generally, I was like, okay, fine, he's sorry, right? But I don't even remember what I was talking about. I'll go back to, so like, regardless, we were all really worried, and so like I called the police, not the police, I called this like indie organization that specialized in mental health, and like it was basically like an independent suicide hotline. They got me in touch with the police, right, and like put me on a conference call and all that. And I didn't record the whole thing, but I recorded the tail end where I asked how the wellness check was going. And again, this happened on the 10th. And I found out that they had carried out 4 different checks from 4 different calls. One was from me, one was from Clyde, one was from the person that Seth was talking to before the video went live, and one was from somebody who has been closely in touch with Seth the entire time. And they said that they made contact with him every time on the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. And had no reason to believe that he needed any assistance or needed to be placed under any sort of like supervision or whatever. And I was just like, okay. And I was really mad, but I was just like, please do another one for me, I guess. And then I hung up, and I didn't expect to hear back from them because I didn't hear back from them on any of the other ones. But I mean, I was really relieved, but I was mad because I was like, okay, I guess Seth just like lie. I mean, he hadn't spoken to me yet at this point. Oh, right. What I was talking about earlier, why I didn't reach out to him was because I was like, is he like dead? I mean, like his account seems inactive, and everybody that I spoke to said they hadn't heard from him in a while, right? So fast forward 2 days. One of my friends who I told to send a friend request to the account to make sure that it was like still intact, randomly got his request accepted, and Seth started talking like, hey, what do you need? And he wasn't expecting like to get a response. He was just like, oh, my friend, it's Swag, you know, he told me to check up on you. And then basically it got to Seth asking questions about me and him being like, I don't know. He was like, yeah, does Swag like still really hate me? And this is where like some of the like behavior that pissed me off started to come from. He was like, cause you know, a lot of my behavior was like a result of trauma and like mental illness and stuff. It's just like, it's one thing to put that as like, you know, like a silver lining in an apology or whatever, you know, like, oh yeah, it was something that I wasn't aware of. It was based on this issue that I didn't know I had, but now that I'm aware of it, I can work through it. But he was just kind of using it as like a get out of jail free card, like hand waving away all of the stuff that he had done, right? But so my friend didn't know how to answer, so I was like, just tell Seth to add me, I guess. And I started talking to him. And like he immediately, I mean, at first it was just pleasant, but then like he immediately like pressed me out over the thing that I said on the Keem stream where he tried to say that I was a liar. I don't know how many of you guys listened to it, but it was when I said that the explanation that he was giving to Pat God and Keem about him talking to the underage girl wasn't the same explanation he gave me. When I first heard about this, he told me that the person in the screenshots wasn't him. And he was like, yeah, you were lying because... So the reason for the confusion is because he did this stream where he had this like Discord stage, and he went over a bunch of the allegations from the same doc that Pac and Keem got their hands on. And there were a bunch of people on the stage and a bunch of people not on the stage. Now, I wasn't there for the majority of the stream, but I joined the Discord call for like 5 minutes to listen. I told Seth, hey, throw me up on the Discord stage there. He didn't respond. The only reason I really wanted to be involved was just because, you know, I was like, I kind of want attention, you know, something exciting is going on. Like, let me get involved, but then I left, right? And I was trying to tell him that on the Keem stream. I was just like, because... At first, I didn't remember everything that had happened, and I was going through the whole video, right, and I was just like, yeah, I don't see myself. You keep saying I'm in this video, but I don't see it. Then I heard from some other people that he talked to them about it a little bit more. He also showed some like screenshots from our conversation in the video that he sent to Clyde, and I was like, oh yeah, now I remember this. I was there for a little bit and then disappeared. Our DMs from that point in time like kind of prove it, because he didn't see, but then at the end of the stream he responded to me and he was like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you, and I didn't get back to him until like 11 p.m. because I was off Discord like by the time the stream ended, right? I was going to hang out with like Alyssa or friends or something, whatever. And so now, the reason this is relevant is because we started talking, and the reason we started talking was because I was concerned about his well-being, because he was talking about committing suicide, and he made it clear to me from the beginning in that conversation that he was talking about committing suicide, and then he started using this really weird, like, manipulative language, like, you know, but at least you guys won't have to worry about me anymore because I'll be gone, so, you know, that's good. You got off scot-free, huh, Swag? And I was just like, what do you think this is? Okay, like, Seth, I feel like this goes without saying, but, like, I don't want you dead, and that's not how I view it. Like, what I said to you on the Keem stream is genuinely what I remember happening. And he was just like, you know, what you did was wrong, or, like, I'll remind you, I have a recording. He never sent me a recording, by the way. Maybe he does have it. Maybe he has something that contradicts what I said. I don't know. I could just be remembering it very, very incorrectly. But I'm like, as of right now, I'm very sure, because, you know, Troy said the same thing when I was in call with Six and Troy. It was like Troy brought it up, and I was like, yeah, like all my neurons started firing. I was like, I remembered the exact same shit. Seth being like, that wasn't me. Maybe it was a different situation. Maybe the same dot got brought up multiple times. I don't know. But the point is, he was trying to get me on this, and like it was just like, I was just like, so what's like your goal here, right? And by this point I had spoken to some other people who had spoken to him, and they started to get the impression that he was expressing remorse, and he was just like, yeah, I want to be able to patch this up, and I want to be able to talk with Clyde and stuff, but he would like sprinkle in little bits of like, I shouldn't say sprinkle in, no, his primary fixation was like, my reputation's fucked, how do I fix it? I don't know what to do, this is fucked up, I want to be able to come back from these allegations. And before any of this suicide shit started, I'm not going to name them, I don't know if they want this to be known that they told me this, but Seth went to a very prominent YouTuber that he doesn't really know super well. You guys probably know of this person, I'm not going to say who they are. They weren't really directly involved with the situation, and he was just like, yeah, I found some stuff that might clear my name, hey, can you vouch for me? And the person was just like, what are you talking about? Seth was like, there's no coming back from this, vouching for you won't do anything, that type of thing, right? So like, even very early, like more than a week ago, his primary concern wasn't, I need to become a better person, I need to improve so I don't hurt people again. His primary concern was, I need to fight these allegations, make these allegations seem not credible, get people on my side so that I have a fighting chance to restore my image and career. And it became more and more apparent the more people talked to him. Okay, and so at first when he uploaded that video, it was like him saying, yeah, I need to talk to you, Clyde, because I just want to patch things up. And I thought Clyde was being really, really, really paranoid when he said this to me. But what Clyde said was that he thinks that that is a gaslighting tactic, or he thought, I should say, because, you know, past tense, that was a gaslighting tactic on Seth's part to try and get them to call so that Seth could, like, clip Clyde or press Clyde on something that he didn't remember properly, get him to, like, slip up or say something or whatever that would make Seth look good, put it in a response video. And I was just like, I don't know, that seems like really out there and weird, Clyde. But as I started to talk to more people, because, and here's the thing, we weren't talking, like, I wasn't talking to these people for the express purpose of, like, shitting on Seth or, like, fighting back against him or, you know, I was concerned that this guy was going to die. I was really worried about his, like, physical and mental well-being. I was like, look, you know, this is a lot to go through. Like, we were all like, we want to see what we can do to help him. And as I started, like, talking to these people more and more, I heard more things that he said to them that kind of sounded like, wait, okay, so he might actually only want to talk to Clyde for, like, Clyde might have been right, you know? And so then as I start, speaking to Seth, we go like back and forth, and like I let him know, I'm like, dude, like I don't want you to kill yourself, but like I don't even know why you want to talk to me. And this is what I told him, right? I told him like, so I'm not sure why you. Let me actually back up for a second, because the reason I said this to him was because despite what he told my friend, which was that he was like, oh, does Swag really hate me? I hope he knows that all that behavior was trauma based, right? Like he really cared about my opinion of him. He came to me, he was like, the only reason I added you was because you seemed concerned about what was going on, right? Like he was like putting himself above me or something like that. Like, oh, I don't really care. I don't need to talk to you. And I was just like, okay, well, that's not what you said to my friend. And he like flipped out on me. He was like, stop this villainization shit, Swag. What do you mean? Are you saying that I'm lying or whatever? I was like, that's not necessarily what I'm saying. It's just that it's like weird because like these two things mean different things. And I mean, the main reason why it sticks out to me is because like based on everything I heard from Clyde and all these other people and how you talk to me on the Keem stream, I'm under the impression that like you don't like me. You've always hated me. Like since we've known each other, you've hated me. Multiple people have told me this. Tons of people have told me that Seth has always hated me, like from like Clyde to Noodles to Parrot to even people who don't even have any ball or like horse in this race. Sorry, like people from Seth's server who I've spoken to in the past have said stuff like, "Yeah, Seth always hated you," right? And I was just like, why would my opinion matter to you? Like, why do you even want to talk to me? Like, I was saying this from like a place of like, what can I do to help you? Because like I don't know what I'm supposed to say to make you feel better, because I think that you're just gonna think that I'm stupid or that I don't know what I'm talking about, or just like dismiss it as like, yeah, Swag's just like childish and dumb and naive and blah blah blah, right? And then he like, fuck, it made me so mad. It was like this like manipulative like, fuck, you're so stupid, bro. You matter to me so much, or like type of shit, right? And he was just like, look, man, like I literally couldn't help all of that negative stuff that I said about you. And I was just like, look, Seth, like you were expecting me to like make a huge leap of faith for you when like, why would I do that? Why would I believe that you were telling the truth and that you like, and so eventually the conversation progressed a little bit, and I didn't really look at any of my Discord messages or whatever on, I think it would have been the 13th, the day before yesterday. Yeah, I was just kind of like really exhausted and tired, and like I just needed a break, and I wanted to hang out with Alyssa because like I had spent the beginning, or I guess like it was like a period of like 5 days before, like really, really worried that, somebody I knew was like going to commit suicide, and that like I was like, oh man, I'm going to feel partially responsible for it. And, he was alive, and I was just like, okay, I need like a minute, I'm just going to hang out. Like I wasn't trying to ghost him or whatever. I also didn't know that he messaged me. So then it was like yesterday where we kind of started talking, and it was off and on because it was Valentine's Day and I was trying to spend it with Alyssa. But so towards the end of the day, two things happened. First of all, this guy who was the guy that I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, the guy who was talking to Seth, he hit up Clyde, and then Clyde told me that Seth basically went full mask off when they called. And this guy had been recording these calls not to like necessarily like expose Seth or whatever, but because it was like a mental health crisis thing, and he figured so what the police told me, and what I believe they told him, is, if there's another situation like this, call us again, right? Like at the end of our calls, that's basically what they said. And the only way that he was able to prove, or I think that Clyde was able to prove that anything was wrong in the first place, was by sending them the unlisted video. And so this guy had like this recording, and he sent it to Clyde to tell him to listen to it. And Seth is basically like just admitting in it that the only reason, because bro, he had been begging people. He told other people, there's another person, again, I'm not going to name names, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus here. There was another person who came to me, who came to the guy that had been talking to Seth, and like the first guy who called the police for his well-being. This person that's been very close to Seth came to multiple different people and was like, look, can you please get Seth to talk to Clyde? And Clyde obviously didn't want to talk to Seth, and they were really, really pushy. And in this recording, Seth said, he basically confirmed that the only reason he wanted to talk to Clyde was for what Clyde was worried about in the first place, which was getting him in a call, getting Clyde to, say something at odds with something he said in the past, or getting Clyde to maybe asking him a weird loaded question, or cutting up the clip. But basically, he was just like, I need Clyde to vouch for me. I'm not a pedophile. He knows I'm not a pedophile, which, by the way, Clyde's not even really the root of all of the pedophile allegations. There was a little bit of that in the video, but most of that stuff came from Pac and Keem reading the doc on their stream, right? So, he was just like, yeah, I just need Clyde to vouch for me. And I asked the guy who recorded the clip. He said it's cool for me to play it, but it's very, very, very blatant. Okay? And then later on that night, he started telling me, hey, Swag, are you free to call? I'm just really depressed right now or whatever. I need to call so that we can talk some things out. And I was like, okay. So by this point, I was starting to take what Clyde said a little bit more seriously. And I was just like, what do you want to call about? He was just like, nah, it's we should just call. And I was like, is it complicated or what? And he was just like, yeah, a little bit. There's multiple different routes that we can take. And so after this, I found out that in that recording, Seth just randomly said, yeah, maybe I can just get somebody to vouch for me on my response video, like Swag or something. He never, ever mentioned me going on. Oh, my bad. I just saw I haven't been looking at chat much. I just saw somebody say for me to stop eating. Okay, my bad. But I had never given him any sign that I wanted to help him make a rehabilitation or comeback video or whatever. And he also didn't tell me that that was what his plan was. So I think that he was going to try to get me in a call and be really slimy about it. And I brought this up to him. I was just because he was just trying to be all nice and be like, yeah, I see you as a friend. And I was like, so do you actually see me as a friend or a tool? Because I get the feeling that this is about some rehabilitation shit and you want me to vouch for you. And I don't even know what I'm supposed to do here. Earlier, a few days ago, and I said that, I don't actually think you care about my opinion of you. This is what I had in mind. And he was just like, what do you mean? Use you for, survival, bro? I mean, yeah, I want, my career back, and I don't want to die, and blah, blah. And so, basically, the implication was he was giving me an ultimatum of yeah, Swag, if you don't call me, I'm gonna kill myself. And he said this in the recording too, basically, he was just like, yeah, Clyde just has to vouch that I'm not a pedophile, and then it's all good. I get to live, I go get help, Clyde never has to hear from me again. And it's dude, that's when it all came together, and I was just like, okay, yeah, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Seth has been lying to all of us, ghosting people, constructing this whole fucking theater shit, using suicide as a weapon to try to get some of us, even if we didn't know, to help him beat or deflect these allegations. And I was just so I told him, I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I was just like, look, bro, it looks like you're trying to take advantage of me. This is weird. And then I blocked him. And because he's currently in the process of making a response video, I figured I should probably go ahead, get ahead of that response video and put all of this out there so that everybody knows that the dude is a complete, dude, he is psychotic. He's completely gone off the deep end. You cannot take anything he says seriously. He will do or say anything to get what he wants. And it seems like he's so, he refuses to come to terms with the fact that there's consequences for all this shit that he did, right? And I don't even know what he expects to happen from this situation. Okay, so say Clyde does get out there and just say, yeah, Seth's not a pedophile. It's well, but you still he's still, sorry, just hit my mic, my bad, a little bit too fucking razzled up right now, right? But Seth admitted on Keem's stream to soliciting or attempting to solicit nudes from a 16-year-old girl, right? Even if it was a joke, it doesn't matter. It's still an act of pedophilia, right? I think everybody in the chat agrees with that. And he's so concerned about all he's been talking about in all of these conversations. This isn't like, how do I make myself a better person? How do I improve? How do I make it up to these people? It's, how do I come back from this? How do I get my channel back to like its former glory, right? Like that's all he cares about. And it's just like, dude, he's a complete sociopath, right? Like, and I feel like I'm so mad because I was genuinely stressed the fuck out those like first few days where I was worried he was dead. I was like, bro, I had this like hole in my chest, like my heart had sunken into my stomach. I was like, man, I feel like dumb for taking it seriously because like I said earlier in the stream, I had a very, very, very like quiet voice in the back of my head telling me, hey, look, this whole suicide thing is just a stunt. He's just trying to manipulate you and other people. And I was like, look, I can't take that chance. And so, I entertained everything that he was saying. And it's just like, fuck, bro. Let me see if I got this clip just so you guys don't have to take my word for it, okay? Let me see. Like, Seth, like, starts this shit off like, if Clyde is worried about my life,
either that or Swag is going to have to come in and be like, yes, Seth knows what he's fucking talking about. Like, we collab, we do shit non-scripted. He's debated everyone. But
so there's an example of that, by the way, which again, I never told him that I was cool with like doing like this. He was talking here. No, I'll play the whole thing. No, you know what? No, I don't have to. He was talking about like having me go out and be like, yeah, Seth does actually make some of his videos because people have been like, yeah, he doesn't make his own videos, right? And it's like, I don't know. I've never seen him actually work on a solo video before. All I know is that my collabs with him, we've done together. Sometimes I have other people edit those. He always has other people edit those, as far as I'm aware. But like, when Clyde was saying that like Seth hasn't written any of his scripts, or I don't know if that's exactly what Clyde said, but that Seth didn't write most of his scripts. As far as I'm aware, that's true. So like, anyway, the actual thing that I wanted to play for you guys is
at the very least, if Clyde really if Clyde really doesn't want to interact with me because it's very stressful, he thinks I'm going to get mad at him or Kyoka him, and he's worried about my life. And he doesn't believe I'm a pedophile, okay? Everyone knows that. Just tell him to vouch for me on the pedophile thing. That's it. That's all I want.
Right.
And then I can live. I won't have to bother him. Right? It's completely honest because he doesn't believe I'm a pedophile.
Not true, by the way. But you guys get the point, right? Like, if Clyde cares about my life, if he wants me to live, like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, the Kyoka him thing, like, he keeps, like, saying, look, I'm not Aizen, I don't know why you guys think I'm Aizen. And I try to believe him, I'm just like, okay, man, sure, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and then he does this type of shit, bro, like, there's so much more, too, that I can play, but I don't want to, because I want to keep Seth's private life private, right? Bro, I would have kept this to myself and just bottled up this rage at being, like, lied to, used and manipulated forever. Till the end of time, I only would have told, like, my close friends and shit. If not for the fact that Seth made it clear that he's trying to work on a response video, and he's already established that he's willing to, like, use me, use Clyde, all these fucking people in order to make his response more credible. So, like, yeah, he's probably gonna lie about me and shit, bro. So I just wanted to get, like, wanted to let everybody know, bro, like, take whatever he says with a grain of salt, man. Like, The thing that I was so concerned about was him going in and just being like, yeah, all these people abandoned me in my darkest hour. I was suicidal and they didn't care. When it's like, bro, that couldn't be further from the fucking truth. Like, oh my God. You have no idea. Again, I was relieved, but I was so mad when I got off the phone with that police officer. Another thing, by the way, now I don't know if this is true. This is only speculation, but here, let me finish these gushers real quick. The chewing? Yeah, I'm sorry. Hold on. You guys gotta get ready for this, though. Sorry, it's taking longer than I thought. So, when Seth told me that he actually did attempt suicide, because he tried to tell me that to get me to take him more seriously, and it worked, admittedly, but he told me, first of all, that he'd gone to the psych ward. So the story that he gave me was that he attempted to commit suicide, called the cops so that they could come find his body, and the cops kind of talked him out of it and scared him. There were a bit of discrepancies between that story and what he told other people. Like, he told other people that he had second thoughts in advance anyway, that the cops didn't really have anything to do with that. But he told me that the lady on the phone was like, she was like scaring him, like, what if you get paralyzed, that type of thing. That's not a huge discrepancy, but, it was just like worth noting, right? So he tells me this, and then he tells me that the cops got him, restrained him, hauled him off to the psych ward, and that he was at the psych ward for 4 days. He told me this on the 12th, and 4 days before the 12th would have been the 8th. But as you guys know, I called his local police department. I know his full name, his address, all that shit. I'm not going to dox him. Don't worry. But, like, if it comes down to it, like, I do, like Seth would, like, at the very least, that is one thing that I know for a fact that Seth is not going to fight me on. He'll just be like, yes, no, Swag does know my name. So, I got the name, address, I gave it to them. And, like I said, they told me that they checked on him on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. I called them on the 8th, and then I called them again on the 10th, and they told me they checked on him on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I also called them on the 10th, and they said that those were the only calls that they got, which is really weird. So it's like, okay, there are a whole lot of things that are weird about this, right? Like, I'll get to the point first, and then I list the reasons why I think this. So what I think is possible, and I'm not saying that this is 100% true, right? Like, I want to take, like, the mental health shit seriously. I really don't want to be an asshole who's just like, yeah, you're probably just lying, because, that's fucked up. But I think that he did go to a psych ward because he showed a receipt that, like, he'd actually been at, like, this mental hospital for a few days to somebody. But I think that he was self-admitted. He did not actually try to kill himself. He did not call the cops, and they did not haul him off there, because the police officer that I spoke to did not make any allusion to that. I called him on the 10th, which is after he would have been admitted. The receipt that he showed this person showed that he was admitted on the 9th, and he got discharged on the morning of the 12th. That's 3 days, right? It would be 4 days if he went through the entirety of the 12th, but he didn't. So that's another thing. He told me 4 days. The receipt he showed to somebody else implied 3 days. And anyway, the 9th is still before the 10th, which is when I called the police, and they told me that the last call they got about it was on the 8th, right? And they said that there was no reason to be concerned, and that they could do another wellness check for him on that day, that being the 10th. If the police had hauled him off to the goddamn psych ward, she wouldn't have told me that. Surely, right? She would have been like, yeah, there was a final call on the 9th. I don't know if they would have told me that he placed himself or whatever, but they would have been like, yeah, he's probably like in, intensive mental health care, like whatever the fuck, right? Like, they wouldn't have just told me that he was fine. And here, let me see if I can find the recording. I didn't record the whole call because I didn't expect it to turn into this. Like, I made that call just like because I was like genuinely concerned from the bottom of my heart. So I don't have the part where she says like the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, but I did say at the end, you know, like so you guys made contact with him on 4 different days, and then she was like, yep. And or like you guys were called out there 4 different days, and she was like, yep, we made contact with him every time. And again, this was on the 10th. Maybe I'll make another call just to like super confirm this. I'm not saying that this definitely is true and that he definitely lied about calling the cops and going to the psych ward via a cop car or something. I'm just saying that the story is really weird. So like, it's just like I don't know what to believe and whatnot. Here, let me play the recording. It's gonna sound really like scuffed and like boofy because I'm playing it from my phone, and it was like it's already kind of like a recording of me talking and like so the quality is probably gonna be bad. It's not on my PC because it's like an iPhone recording that I had Alyssa record, but you know, here.
Okay, so thank you for letting me know that he's fine, though. So you said you made 4 different checks?
Yes, 4 days in a row.
Okay.
And they made contact with him every time.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys understood what she said there, but she said we made contact with him every time. That it did sound kind of, you know, like that was 144p video audio, right?
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry if, you know, like, kids took up, like, too much time or whatever. I've just been worried about him for a while.
You're definitely fine. I understand. I fully understand that it's okay for you to contact us and ask for that. We just want to make sure that he's okay. But I apologize they didn't contact you because that would have saved your call today.
It's okay. No, I understand. I'm pretty sure that it's based on, like...
This is me, like, walking away, so that's why I sound more distant, because I was just pacing together my thoughts.
Okay, well...
But we do, so, I mean, if a new situation happens, we do want you to call us back, though, okay?
Okay, we'll do, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I don't still have contact with him, so if something...
And yeah, like, this call was when I made... before he and I started talking, because it was before he got out of the hospital. So
it'll probably be fine.
Here, I'll go ahead and pause the recording because that was pretty much the end of it. So yeah, like I don't even know if he was telling the truth about that. Like I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's like, Gushers, bro, what do you mean? Sour Gushers are fire. Come on. Oh, sorry. Now, no offense, Swag, but when you talk over the clip, it gets hard to hear. Yeah, sorry. I was just trying to give context for everything so everybody understood. But you guys got the point of the clip, right? What date was this called? It was the 10th. He got out on the 12th. Told me that he stayed there for 4 days and that the police hauled him there, which would have been on the 8th, which was one of the days that the cops made contact with him. But also showed a receipt that showed him in the hospital starting on the 9th. So what I think is that he just self-admitted, said like, yeah. He also sent me like a list of his calls, and one of them was like, it wasn't 911, it was the like suicide prevention hotline. So I think he called them to get referred, but it wasn't the cops. But again, I don't know. He could be telling the truth. I'm just saying a bunch of reasons why it's, like, a little bit fishy. But, like, Gushers hard carried middle school. That's what I'm saying, you know? But, yeah, like I said, figured I would just get all this out there in case he tries to say anything in the future that, you know, like, would conflict with this or conflict with the truth, I guess. Right? But, like, in case it wasn't already clear, I'm completely done with Seth. I'm never interacting with him, like, ever again. Like, no matter what. At first, it was like well, you know, if he goes and gets help and genuinely improves, becomes a better person, you know, maybe I would consider, like, forgiving it. But it's just like, no, dude. He's, like, the guy's psychotic. He's a complete, like, sociopath. He's not above doing anything. Right? Like, he doesn't consider any manipulation tactic beneath him, and it sucks. Like, it felt so bad to be taken advantage of after being stressed out for that long about his well-being. I guess another thing I wanted to do is, like, if anybody has any questions, so that I don't have to, like, spend the whole rest of my career, like, answering them. I can try to do, like, a question block now. Let me go ahead and take a look at all of the super chats, since I don't want to ignore all of these. Okay, Burnt Toast with 140 ZAR. You're amazing, thank you. $50 from King Dynasty. Hey, Swag, just got on the stream. Here's to a positive 2023, man. Yeah, I really hope the rest of the year can be positive, bro, because this was one of the most stressful weeks of my life. Pax Bella, $20. Swag, I just want to make sure you're doing okay in this trying time. Are you good? Yeah, I'll be fine. The worst of it's behind me. I was really stressed out for those first 2 days where I thought, like, he might be dead. I was like I said, like, bro, I felt like almost like physically sick, but I'm good now. And then Angel with $50, first big donation ever. Just wanted to support you in any way I can. I appreciate it. You didn't have to drop the $50 though. But thank you. I do genuinely appreciate it. But yeah, so hi Swag, how's your day today? Fine. I'm stressed out. I wasn't looking forward to doing this stream. If you don't get consent from other caller in certain states, it's considered illegal, and you just played the audio on stream, bro. Well, so first of all, it's not illegal where I live, and I don't really think that, like, the law defines morality, right? The reason why I wanted to play it is because, like, well, first of all, the only reason it was recorded was because, like, Clyde, all of these people were again, Seth was like, I'm gonna kill myself. So people started recording the calls where he was talking about wanting to kill himself and, showing it to the authorities just to make sure that they took the shit seriously and went to check on him, right? I didn't play the whole call for a reason, because I do take Seth's privacy seriously. I played 20 seconds of it, and it was just the 20 seconds where Seth was like, yeah, if Clyde just gets on stream and vouches for me not being a pedophile, then I won't kill myself. And I felt that was, relevant and, like, worth putting out there so that people know the type of shit that he's been up to. Again, there are a billion different other fucking things that, like, I could draw from. Like, I could take screenshots. I could play the whole rest of the call, which I think is like 30 minutes. But I don't want to do that because, like, like the person said, like, it's not cool. I respect Seth's privacy. It's just, like, that specifically was, like, pretty fucked, right? So, let me see. $10 from Jay the Great. Appreciate it, bro. Hey, Swag, you were the GOAT and deserve much better. Here's to better and brighter days. Keep your head up, brother, and much love. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. I warned you about him since day one, says Tao HK with $5. He's a narcissist. I tried to tell you personally, bro. Love you. Yeah, I know. So this is another thing. Like, a lot of people asked me, like, were you just, like, cool with all this behavior the whole time? Or, like, what was it? And it was like, I mean, Six has said the same thing. Like, a lot of the times when Seth would, like, say stuff, we would just assume he has to be joking or, like, being ironic. Like, I mean, I knew he was, like, an asshole and his whole persona was being, like, a dickhead, but I didn't think that it was, like, this, like, real and this bad. It was, like, it was probably, like, too late that I know like, I put everything together. But it was, like, when I found out about this situation with him, being in, like, a relationship with this, mutual friend of, like, Alyssa and I's, and, like, abusing her, and all this stuff, like, that was, like, a huge red flag where I was like, well, okay, that might be enough for me to cut Seth off. And then I found out about all the stuff he'd been saying about me and doing to other people behind the scenes, and I was just like, yeah, no, like, this is too much. It's consistent with things that he's done in the past, if those things that he was doing, or I guess things that he said in the past, if those things that he was saying were meant to be taken seriously, but at the time I just didn't think so. I feel, I mean, I don't want to, like, excuse myself, because I do genuinely feel bad about, like, not acting sooner or trying to call him on the stuff sooner, but I think a lot of people make excuses for their friends, like, not even, like, out loud, but, like, like, mentally, right? And that's what I was doing with Seth. Like, I thought he was my friend. I'd already forgiven him for, like, the whole, like, parrot, Itachi 5 Kage thing, I was like, yeah, I think that we're past this, and I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and yeah, I shouldn't have, and I know that now. So let me see. Dude, you're a champion. Again, so sorry this happened to you. Have I contacted Seth's parents to see if they can do something? I think one person did contact Seth's parents to check on him. But I mean, I don't have like that information. So, let me see. Regardless of Seth being bad, do you think other YouTubers that hated Seth from before took advantage of this controversy? I wouldn't like rule it out. I don't know a lot of them super closely, right? The only people that I really like know are like Seth, Clyde, and Six. I can't really speak for like Noodles or Parrot or where. All I know is that they apologized for the stuff that they had with me, and I let it go. I mean, like, and I'm not trying to like throw either of them under the bus by saying this. It's just like, I don't know. I'm not, I mean, I don't think so. I don't think that like they were just trying to clout farm. But it's just like, like, I don't know. Right. Like if you want to ask them about it, I also don't know like if there's like, so like, I know other people showed up on the Keem stream where it was like really weird. Like I don't know, like, what the fuck people like it was just like why were like, I mean like a lot of those people didn't really need to be there, right? Honestly, I think that I probably shouldn't have even been in the call. I probably should have just been like Clyde and Keem and then like Seth and Keem and I guess Pat got or whatever, right? But I mean I can imagine people being opportunistic over something like this, right? Because it's like a big YouTuber takedown moment. I know I saw a lot of TikToks where it was just like there were like there's this one guy on TikTok and YouTube Shorts who made like 10 videos about like why Seth is bad, and I saw like it was like him in all of the thumbnails, but it was like 10 different videos of him basically just saying the same thing but rephrased, and I was like, okay, this is weird. Little otaku $10. I really feel like this has to be made clear, but come on, guys. We don't want Seth to die. He's unwell and needs help. That said, it is not Swag or Clyde's job to help him. He needs professional help. Yeah, like what I want to say, like for myself, as far as I see, I feel like I did everything that I could, right? It was just like when I started to feel like he wasn't actually trying to confide in me, or like it looked to me as a source of like making him feel better, and he was just trying to like I was just like, look, like for my own sake and honestly for his own good, so that I don't like feed into like so that I don't validate that type of like manipulative behavior. Like I feel like I just have to cut him off, right? Because like if I kept working with him and he thought that it was like okay to do that to people because it yielded results, like I mean like he would definitely never get better, right? So like yeah, I really tried though, bro. Like I tried to talk to him the night that Clyde uploaded the video, and he was like weird and didn't really give me a sincere apology and was like defensive, and like he was kind of forcing me to bring up my own grievances with him instead of just apologizing wholesale for everything he'd ever done to me. And like he was just like, yeah, you're really gonna take that girl's side from the beginning of the video? That's weird. And it's like, what do you mean? Like she's my friend. Multiple people corroborated what she said. Like why would I not trust her? But like it was just weird stuff like that. And then I cut him off, and then I went back to him again. And keep in mind, this is the second time, right? Or at this point, it's been 2 times that he's apologized to me, and I have ample reason to believe that the apology was like fake or not like he didn't mean it. I go back to him a 3rd time because I'm concerned that he's going to commit suicide, right? And I'm just like, hey man, like, and I talk to him, and then he's still like trying to get like use out of me, right? Like use me as like a career move to, come back from this whole situation. And just like at a certain point, like, what am I supposed to do, right? I don't really feel like I didn't feel like I was accomplishing anything. I didn't feel productive. I was just like, I feel like I should probably cut this dude off. Let me see. I appreciate the $20, Marv, but I'm not answering that question right now because this is kind of serious. Pax Bello, $5. What are my thoughts on NC Hammer? He's a guy I've seen doing what I'd personally call exploiting the situation for views personally. I only saw one video from him where he was just kind of like smoking on the Seth pack. It didn't seem exploitative to me. Like, if anybody showed me anything where he was actually, like, being, like, weird about it, I would change my mind, but I didn't see anything like that. Minosabe, I'm sorry if you've already said this, but have you talked to him since the interview with King? Yeah, I did everything in my power to try and make sure that he was okay. But he was just like, yeah, can you get me to talk to Clyde? Like, he was really pushy about me getting him to talk to Clyde. And I was like, well, Clyde doesn't want to talk to you. And then other people that he knew were like, hey, can you ask Clyde to talk to Seth? And I was like, Clyde doesn't want to talk to Seth. And then he asked me to get in a call and didn't tell me what the call was for. And then kind of like, I found out that the reason was because he wanted me to quote unquote vouch for him. So I don't know if he was gonna like record me without me knowing and throw that in the like video or whatever. Or if he was actually gonna try to get me, like, convince me to like say, like, I don't know if he's gonna try to go like with like some sort of setup and then like record me saying something that made him look good. Like, I have no idea, right? But I didn't feel like dealing with it. I was like, look, Seth, like, what you need is to just improve and become a better person, not like bounce back from this and completely escape the consequences of it. So, Sick plus 2, you're clearly a compassionate guy and you've handled this all as well as anybody could. Hopefully you're able to keep protecting yourself too. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm actually doing my best. Jaquandre Jones, you come off as super genuine. Love you, bro. Appreciate it. Likewise. So somebody said, no, it's just ridiculous how everyone is ridiculing him. I hate cancel culture. Just shut up and enjoy his content. Are you talking about Seth? Because it's like what do you, like, the stuff that he got accused of is, like, bad, bro. Like, I mean, I'm not, like, I'm not, like, a huge, like, drama fiend. I don't feed off of that stuff. I mean, I said in my first stream about this, I didn't want to go to war with him, right? I wanted to keep this as, like, you know, quiet and polite as possible. But, like, you can't expect all that shit to happen and, like, a shit show like the Keemstar stream to happen and for people to just not make jokes about it at, like, Seth's expense, right? So, I don't know. That seems like an insane take to me. Austin Chapman with $10. It's admirable how you handled this. This situation is so messed up. Swag W, Sour Gushers W. Dude, Sour Gushers are so fire. Mino Sabe with $10 more. Also, do you think Seth is an actual pedo? Because while it is weird, I don't think 16 and 19 is pedo. So he said he was 19, but from what I understand, first of all, asking for the state that he lives in, it's illegal. Second off, like I said earlier, I feel like there are a lot of cases where legality doesn't define morality, and I think that, like, trying to hook up with, like, a 16-year-old, especially when you have Seth's, like, massive platform and there's a huge power imbalance, is pretty fucked up. Third, I think he was 20. Like, I think I actually might have said this already, but I'm pretty sure he was 20. He said on the stream that he was 19, but he was actually 20 years old when it happened. Fourth, he got really defensive about it, and his defense wasn't like, oh, well, that age difference isn't a big deal. Like, he clearly knew it was wrong because he was like, well, yeah, but I was just asking for the nudes as a joke, right? It's like, I don't know, man. I feel like I don't think it flies. Jason Elias, $20. This reminds me of the Justin Roiland situation. I always thought that the sick jokes and humor were just a part of the persona, but it was actually real. Sucks. But hey, thanks for being someone I can look up to. Swag, love. Yeah, the Justin Roiland situation is kind of, pretty much the same thing. I get what you mean. Love you too, buddy. $5 from Easy on the Track. I hope you're doing okay. I seriously hope Seth gets better. Mental health is something that should always be... Yeah, no, like, I agree. I think people should take mental health and, like, mental health crises seriously. I don't like it when people don't have, like, a support network or anything. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to completely leave Seth out to dry. But it's like, I don't know what more I can do. And I mean, like, dude, everyone who I know personally was telling me... one, I don't have any obligation or responsibility to talk to him. I'd already done everything that I can. Or two, they were, like, really, really pushing me to cut him off and telling me that I was being dumb and irresponsible by continuing to engage with him. And I was just like, look, I don't care. I'm trying to do what I feel is the right thing. I want to make sure that the guy doesn't die. And he, like... So, like, you know, and then it turned out that it was, like, dude, none of the people who have spoken to him about it actually think that it was sincere anymore. And the thing is, like, I'm still genuinely worried that maybe he's going to try to do it, but, like, I don't know how I'm supposed to help him with it, because the only options he's given me and he's given Clyde are, like, vouch for me in my comeback video, bro, which like I can't do because like what am I gonna vouch for, right? Like I don't agree with any of the stuff he's saying, like he didn't do, you know? So it's like, and then like, like not only would it be like fucking like, so first of all it wouldn't help Seth because he already admitted to soliciting nudes from a minor on Keem's stream. So like if I came out and was like, yeah, Seth isn't a pedophile, like I would just commit career suicide. Seth wouldn't come back and we would just be in the same position, right? So like I don't know, it's just weird to like expect me to like lie on his behalf in such a like self-destructive way. It's like, you know, like he's already shown that he's totally willing to lie to people and manipulate people. He's done this shit to other people before, right? Like he made suicide threats to Omar, the lead animator on Naruto versus Ichigo in the past. And when I say in the past, I mean like years ago. So this is something that he's done for a really long time. So like it's just, I don't want to discount it. If it was anybody else, I would be taking it super, super seriously, but I don't actually think he's going to do it. I think that he just said that he was going to do it in order to get me to talk to him and to get Clyde to talk to him. Because, I mean, if you guys were here earlier when I played the clip, he literally said, like, if Clyde cares about my life, you know, just get him to vouch for the pedophile thing. I get to live. He doesn't have to hear from me anymore. Like that. It's so blatant, the manipulation, right? It's like, what is any reasonable person supposed to do? Marv 3400, Swag, give me your Cash App. I'll send you 10 G's to answer the question. I'm good, bro. I'm not trying to drop my Cash App. If you're actually going to send me 10 G's, maybe I'll put up a PayPal link at like a different time, but like not like right now. Like I'm not trying to answer the throw it back question because this is pretty serious. Yeah, I agree with you, Carthu. There's no like exactly like there's nothing that we could do to like get rid of that shit. So. They must be doing this for clout just undermines why exposing Seth needed to happen, especially since he threatened me to never talk about what he did to me or he'll lie about it on stream. Yeah, exactly. I think that so there are a lot of people, for example, like Surfbone and Satire, who like they like had been ostracized from these communities because of all of the things that Seth had said about them, despite the fact that Seth had been abusive to them in the past. So, I mean, I don't know. So, like, when people ask if people are taking advantage of the situation, I don't know if they're, like, asking from a place of, like, okay, so I don't like Seth, but are these people being, like, you know, a little bit, like, slimy or weird about it and trying to take advantage of the situation when they don't need to? Or if it comes from, like, a more sinister, less genuine place of, like, I do like Seth, and I think that these allegations shouldn't be taken seriously because these people are just right. Like if that's what you think, like come on, you know, right? But again, I'm not trying to take like a super firm stance on anything in relation to the people that I don't know. Like, you know, Clyde knows Noodles and Para better than me, so like he can speak for them, right? But, I mean, I didn't get the impression that anybody there was, like, super, like, farming or whatever, right? So, I don't know. Let me see. The raw durability stuff is so stupid. Oh, my God. Is there any legal action happening to Seth right now? No, I don't think he's actually gonna, like, go to jail or whatever, right? I'm just, like, holding him personally accountable. Cancel culture would be more like boycotting someone for their political views or action, like Scott Cawthon. You can't say cancel culture for actual moral or legal crimes. Yeah, I agree, bro. What do you think about the way Keem and Pat God handled the whole situation on the stream? I mean, Keem is Keem, so he's weird. Pat God was a little goofy. Like, he missed a couple of things sometimes. Like, he would hear somebody say something and just be like, yeah, well, whatever, and, like, not really take it seriously, and then somebody would, like, say the exact same thing, like, a few minutes later, and he'd be like, wait, what? Now this changes things. So he was, like, a little bit goofy. I mean, I don't like. I wasn't there for the whole stream too. Personally, I did not like that. I basically just wasn't able to talk at all. I also think that they added too many people to the call. But generally, it was probably like a decent stream because, I mean, they got to the heart of the issue, which was, is Seth a bad person? And they found out, yes, and they got Seth to expose himself. So, I mean, interviewing him specifically, I think they did a good job. Aside from, like, at the very beginning where they were kind of, like, tossing him layups and shit. That was a little annoying. They seemed like they were kind of, like, taking his side a little heavy. But, yeah. Love you, Swag. Best of luck. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Love you, too. What are my thoughts about the East Palestine, Ohio train explosion? Bro, I don't even know about that. Like, if it's, like, a super relevant current event, which it sounds like it is, I probably should know what happened there, but I've been so zoned in on, like, this, like, Seth suicide thing for the past week that I barely kept up with, like, anything. May I have a brief filler, Lord Swagkage? $10 from Aldine Dove. I don't even know what that means, bro. What is NC Hammer 23's relation to the situation? Mystical Zandi for $5. He just didn't like Seth beforehand. Like, that's literally it. He's a member of the community. He saw the allegations and he was just like, yeah, I knew Seth was a bad person. So he just thought that it was, like, funny that Seth was being held accountable for it, right? That's all. Let me see, $5 from Malaki Stancil, I think. On a positive note, I'm happy you came around to One Piece. I can't wait for the great content to come. Yep, I'm working on a One Piece video as we speak. I might be in like 30 minutes about to go on a stream with Rogers Base. I don't know, to talk about it. If not today, then tomorrow. But, yeah. So, you know, I'm cooking up the One Piece content. Don't worry, it's coming. It's probably going to be my next video, is a video about whether or not One Piece was worth it. But I think that's everything that I had to say about the situation. You know, like, I'm distancing myself from Seth. I don't really want to talk about it anymore in the future. I just figured, you know, I would get this out of the way now so that I don't have to worry about it later on. Like, if Seth tries to lie about me, say like, oh, Swag didn't care about me, or Swag did this, or Swag did that, I'll just be able to use this video, which I'm going to keep unlisted. Somebody's probably going to have clipped the whole thing and, like, upload it on one of the clip channels. I'll just be able to point back to this and be like, no, look, dude, Seth isn't trustworthy. Like, I mean, this is, like, you know, like, the final straw, right? Like, all the stuff he did was bad, and I think that a lot of the stuff is worse than lying about suicide, but the fact that he was so unwilling to face the consequences of all of the things that he did, so unwilling to hold himself accountable, that he was willing to threaten to kill himself to any and everyone who he could take advantage of, like that I don't think he actually sees anything wrong with what he did. There's this really, actually, before I go, so there's this really, like, insane stream clip. I don't have it on hand, but it was like, somebody asked Seth, are you a narcissist? And he was just like, if I was a narcissist, would I have helped out, like, lift up, like, Clyde and Chuck and all these people when I don't have to? If I was a narcissist, would I do this? Right, like a total narcissist response, right? Like answering a question about, are you this negative thing, with like, well, if I was that, I wouldn't have. And it's, like, totally unrelated, right? Because it's like, he hosted Chuck on his channel just for, like he collabed and stuff. Like, it's dumb. It was a really stupid way to answer the question, you know, just but yeah, so, like, I think he's, like, a total textbook fucking, like, narcissist abuser. I mean, I would be shocked at this point if he actually comes back a better person in, like, a year or whatever. But yeah, let me see. Let me wrap up the last few donations. Naruto Explained with $20. Take care of your mental health, brother. You sound a little off. Yeah, this this week fucked me up, bro. Oh my god, I was so worried about him and, like, stressed out, and oh my god, I'm just, like, I'm mad at him, but I am genuinely happy that he wasn't serious about it. at least as far as I'm aware. You know, like I don't want to completely like let him go, but I feel like I can't do anything for him, right? So I gotta let him, just like handle this on his own. Aldine Dove, $5. Sorry, I missed your video live. I will support you, my man. Appreciate it. Don't worry, you don't have to donate. Any collabs with Six or Clyde on the way? Yeah, probably coming. I mean, I'm gonna focus on like the One Piece stuff first, though, right? I want to make the One Piece review, and then I want to make. So the first video is gonna be like, I finally caught up on One Piece. Was it worth it, right? And then the next video that I'm interested in making, I might have to push this one back because of how difficult it will be, but I want to make a Naruto versus Luffy video. I might hold off on it to do some. Now, again, like, I don't want people to run away from the sound of this, and I'm not promising anything, so keep that. I'm just saying one thing that's been toiling around in the back of my head is doing, like, an animated version, like, the way that Seth was going to do Naruto versus Ichigo, since I could either ask Omar to animate it, or he could put me in touch with other animation, field friends that he has who might be willing to do it. I don't know if I actually want to do it, since it seems like a lot of work, a lot of like managing stuff and like oversight. I might just do like a regular analysis video about it, but I do plan on doing Naruto versus Luffy at some point. Anyway, sorry if I sounded scatterbrained, sorry if I stuttered a whole lot on this stream. I'm very tired, as most of you can probably tell, so I'm gonna get out of here just in case I do have to go stream with Roger later, because even though I am exhausted, I really do want to talk to him about how I feel about One Piece, and I'm gonna try to like rest from this, right? Because I'm not stressed about that like I was stressed about doing this. So anyway, thanks everybody for all the kind words and positivity. Take care of yourselves, and yeah.